This is VRoc. 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 Chops. This is VRoc. Chops.
What's up, Chop Nation? We back. We back with a good one. This is my brother from another, Mr. Kyron Potts. Everybody clap your hands. Give me a drum roll or something. My boy Potts. Little Potts, a little tall.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
This is
Not much,
Vince.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just ducking and dodging. COVID.
Like always. Like always, bro.
And out the way.
For sure, for sure. All right, bro. We're gonna jump right on in this thing, man. We're gonna start with the first little question, and then we're gonna go from there, man. So, for the people that don't know, what high school did you attend? And if you attended college, for those same people that don't know who Kyron Potts is, what college did you attend?
Okay. All right. Well, I went to Mitchell High School, one of the greatest high schools in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Called ourselves the Real Tigers.
Always haven forever.
Appreciate you.
It's too early video for this.
It's all right. I'll throw it out there real quick. But yeah, I went to Mitchell. My brother went to Mitchell. My dad went to Mitchell. My uncle went to Mitchell. We all pretty much went to Mitchell.
A lot of Mitchell.
Who is Tennessee State University.
This is
I'm on staff there. I'm the percussion instructor, assistant percussion instructor. Been doing that for about 4 or 5 years now. So we'll get to that later on, but it's been a pretty good time.
All right, cool. So, you being one of those choppers, those generational talents, what is your favorite rudiment and why you consider it to be your favorite?
Let's see. My favorite rudiment would be the flam drags.
Why?
Reason being is growing up, well, you grew up with me. Growing up, they pretty much taught us like power and finesse, all in the same sentence. So with the flam drags, I just felt that power and finesse. It's just that when that flam hits, it's just that straight power. Then when you get to them drags, you have to keep in style. You know, there's certain people, they play their flam drags different. It's kind of wild and all over the place. It's just that controlled flam drag. I fell in love with it years and years ago. Secondary, I'm just throw another one out there. I like the 7-stroke roll. I just kind of, when I was younger, I just fell in love with the 7-stroke roll. And Big John, he told me something years ago. He said, "Man, Kyron, you got the secret to those." And I was like, I don't know. I just play them. I don't know. I just feel it. He's like, "Man, you got the secret. That's it. That's your rudiment." So I like to throw that out there also. 7-stroke rolls.
Shout out to JJ. Cool. All right, for you, you know, a lot of us had this same type of story, but let's see what yours turned out to be. What was that moment for you when you knew drums is what you were going to do?
Let's see. Well, I started out playing trumpet, so we knew that wasn't it. Especially not with my family. But that moment for me was I got to Mitchell, and I was playing with some folks. I started out on bass drum. It was kind of like, all right, I liked it. It was okay. It was just kind of a thing. And I played bass drum because I saw my brother do it all the time. I was like, man, he's booming on the bass drum. Man, I want to play that. I want to play the bass drum. I want to send the sound. I just want to make the stadium ring. So I started out on bass drum, just played around. There was this guy, Marvin. I let him play my bass drum. Shout out to Marvin, by the way. He was one of my teachers. Let him play it, and he bust my head. I was like, man, I'm tired of playing bass drum. I'm tired of buying heads. This is over. And my dad, he brought me a snare drum, and I was like, hey, you guys think I can play snare drum? Mr. Webb, he was like, oh, man, we ain't got no more snares. I was like, oh, man, I got one at home. He was like, one at home? I said, yeah, I got a Pearl at home. He was like, bring it up here. If you got one, you can play it. It's like, oh, okay. Called my dad. He was up there in about 10 seconds. He drum off. And I just started playing around. I started off, I was terrible. So that's definitely not the moment. But I was pretty terrible. Went through the semester on snare drum. I ended up going to All-Star Band. It was at Sheffield. So it was real new to me. It was just a lot of different players. But when we got, I think we were in the gym back then.
Auditorium.
Yeah, the auditorium. There was this guy, Roger. Roger was playing snare drum, and I just was like, he's amazing. Dude is cold. I need to be like that. And then it was just, we all came together. And I was at the bottom, by the way. I was at the bottom. So I'm looking at all these people. I'm like, man, this is where I gotta go. This is what I gotta do. And every time we played, it was just like, dang, this is really what I want to do when I strapped up with them. So come down to that showdown, even though, we didn't take the dub, but coming down to that showdown, I felt like it was one of the most amazing things that I had went through, especially being in the band. It was my first time on snare, my first big performance. I was in the All-Star Band, so I felt like I was, a part of something big. So that was the moment I knew. I was like, all right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep playing snare. This is going to be my thing. I went from there, started talking to Trey Munn. I was like, come on, man, come on over here to Fairleigh, man, I got you. It's like, cool, you know what I'm saying? They had some good players, some people I was looking up to back then, like Rufus, Marvin, when Marvin was playing snare drum before,
The opposite with the trumpet.
Yeah, he was a real good snare drum, real good. So I went over there with them, and they were like bringing me in. They were teaching me different stuff. They were like, you Potts' little brother, but we got you. We're gonna cover you. You're terrible. Well, by the way, but we're gonna pick you up. So they started teaching me different stuff, man. I was like, cool, Then I ended up going back to Mitchell. Charles Fitzpatrick. I was about to call him Boogie, but yeah, Charles Fitzpatrick, him and Corey Carpenter, they also brought me in, who are like, my brothers from another mother. And they had different roles, per se. Like one would teach me different chops and the other would teach me how to read, you know what I'm saying? And they would swap it out. And then it just got to a point where I was just like, all right, when I go home, I'm gonna practice this. When I wake up, I'm gonna practice this. When I go to school, I'm gonna do my work. We're gonna go to band class. I'm gonna practice again. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna practice. It was just practice, started going through my head at all times. that's when, you know, I just start connecting with different drummers, and I just start opening my house up to, you know, just pull up, man, we can chop, you know, it don't matter what time, we can chop at 3 a.m. because my dad was just okay with it, you know, blessed to have, you know, parents that were like that. But at that moment, I was like, yeah, I really, really want to play drums. This is it. I'm always thinking about practicing. I'm always practicing. I'm always calling people over. So it was like right after All Star, I knew that, yeah, this is
Cool. All right. So, what is your what was your favorite or most fun memory that you can recall on your drum or with drums, during your time playing?
okay. That's kind of easy. When we went to Texas, uh,
Also,
another All Star event. Um, Reason being is because that was just so all over the place with how we were playing. We was just playing cadences at anybody that walked up to us. It was
right,
just play. We're playing right back at you.
right,
Just that on that. But that event that we did at the stadium, and this is in high school, so but we did with LLI, Leadership Louisiana.
yeah,
But that's when I kind of knew that there was competition outside of Memphis.
yeah,
Because, you know, we was so stuck in Memphis, even though we had like amazing talent in Memphis, top notch talent
everywhere,
everywhere. But I just didn't believe that, you know, it was like that type of talent anywhere else.
right,
Once I got out there and started playing, we had that drum competition. I was like, oh man, that's cool. They got a drum competition with the band stuff. This, oh man, this is hype. And they kind of really focused on the drum competition. And it was just that whole back and forth thing that we were doing on the field with LLI. That was my favorite moment, man. As far as high school,
yeah,
that was my favorite moment because I was at peak. I felt like I was just like at that point where I knew that when I played, I was amazing. And this
put it on out there, Kyron. Don't hold back.
time, I had a section behind me that was just as amazing. We had everybody that was on the line could play,
Yeah,
and we were just coming up with stuff as because we didn't know it was going to be that long.
mm-hmm.
They didn't tell us it was just going to be that many cadences. And you know, we in All Star we just practice for the summer. We'll use like what 2-3 cadences, and that's it because we only had one performance.
Right,
So when they're like, "Hey, we're going to play 10-12 cadences," it's like, whoa, okay, all right. But I had the group that was like, all right, well, we know this, all right, we know that, and it was like, oh, well, we was just throwing stuff with it we hadn't even practiced on.
right,
So that made that experience very good because I felt like I was at my peak, and everybody that was on the line was just as amazing.
yeah,
So that's one of my favorite memories. As far as college goes, I pick one. There's a lot, but I'll just go on back to freshman year, Southern Heritage Classic.
it is.
You just can't beat that feeling. It's just like your first time. This is something you've been wanting to do for so long, especially if you looked up to either college, you know, Tennessee
Right,
State, and you finally get to play on in the percussion section for either section, and you're there your first time. It was like I couldn't believe it. My parents were there, you know, all my friends and family and stuff like that. It was just like it was surreal. It was like a dream come true at that point. We ain't got too much to elaborate on the game, but
yeah,
just know that it was one of the best moments of my life. I got to play with Terrence Jordan and Patrick Brooks. It was two people I was looking up to when I was in high school. It was like, oh, I was trying my best to chop like against them, but they were like in a whole nother tier at the time. It was like, I'm playing at them, but they're looking like, all right, you still got a little ways to go.
right,
And
right.
with me playing beside him, it was just like I said, it was a dream come true. It was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, oh my God. So those are my favorite moments regarding high school and college section.
Cool, cool. What about that moment? I see your background with them drums in front of this particular building, man. Let's talk about that.
You know, that's a very good moment, especially, and it actually works for right now.
Exactly.
And that we just did our virtual performance and all. Um, so I can't say that is also a great moment, especially, being the president and things like that. So yeah, it would actually go down as one of the great moments of my life, actually.
Yeah. Myself, I met the president myself. I even shook a hand.
Oh! Oh! Oh, beautiful!
I'm just playing. No, I did, but I ain't gonna talk about it. All right, bro. What's one of your biggest takeaways that you applied from your years of playing that you transition over, and how do you insert those things into where you are now? Or
Uh,
actually, first.
well, it was the leadership part. I was thrown into a leadership role very early. Um, Went into All Star, like I stated, earlier in the interview. Played All Star in the 9th grade. I did it in the 10th grade, and by the 10th grade, I made section leader. So from then on, I just started developing these leadership qualities. And something that I took away from it is just lead by example. Um, you can't push something onto people that you want to do yourself, and um, make sure that it's not something just too extreme. So it's just basically the lead by example thing I took definitely from the percussion section and into my job now, because I manage security. And the big thing about that is to make sure that you show the people that you actually show them what to do. You don't just get out there and just get to talking and don't actually give them examples of what's actually going on. Because you'll have, I have people thinking they police officers, and it'd be just like a whole different case, and just left and right and stuff like that. So it's just basically, like I stated, lead by example, showing people what they need to do, giving them examples, being able to talk to them, being able to relate to them on their level, see what's in their head, because sometimes you can't just not see what's going on in people's head, because it actually helps to teach them whatever it is that you're trying to teach at the time, especially if they're going time, they may not be able to absorb information as quickly as others. So you can't just like push it on them the same. So you have to pull them to the side and maybe just teach them, after practice, or if it goes to management, just pull them to the side and show them after work. Ask them if they can stay a few more minutes, even if 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 I got to pay you, hey, it's cool. I just need you to stay so I can show you this. It's long story short, lead by example.
Got you, bro. Got you. Cool. So, well, man, let's go back and let's start from the beginning, man. We can go to when Potts became Potts. Let's start at 10th grade when you became the man. All right. So let's talk about that moment in time, like, what went into your preparation. I know you said you see a lot of these examples, but I know you mentioned to me the dungeon.
Yeah.
Elaborate on the dungeon for the young folks that don't know.
The dungeon, aka the hyperbolic time chamber. uh, got that from Courtney Starks and Pat Brooks. That was something we used to say a long time ago. Man, get in that chamber. But 10th grade, All Star and alumni had a big role in my skill level. Misha did also, but it was those summer moments that kept me going. You know what I'm saying? Because it kept us out of trouble. Main thing. But I went to All Star practice. All this talent. By the 10th grade, I had got way better at that point. It was let's just say a lot of people that said I was terrible, I made sure that they didn't say that in the 10th grade. So we did our thing towards the 10th grade. And once we left practice, we would go to alumni practice. And it was like, all right. And they were outside challenging each other. I'm like, dang, that's when I found out what a choo-choo was. I didn't even know that there were like other rudiments past the 40.
Right.
But I just heard one of them say, oh man, play them choo-choos. I'm like, choo-choo? What in the world? What? Like, I didn't even, who would name something like that? That's what I'm. And so I would watch them play, and I'm just trying to zone in, like, what is it? How are they playing it? What is going on? I couldn't figure it out. So I'd go home, had the internet, so I would Google it, and stuff wasn't as popular. So it was like real tough.
Yeah.
A choo-choo. I looked, man, for about 30 minutes to an hour. I'm just looking, like searching different web pages. Like, where is it? Where is it? Finally found they got the sheet music. So I started playing. I'm like, oh, this what they playing? At this point, I'm like, oh man, okay. So I seen all the different rudiments, all the hybrids and stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's another level to this.
Right.
So throughout like the 10th grade and 11th grade, man, right after alumni practice, I would invite people over to the house. Like I'm saying, hey, if we want to continue playing, we come to the crib, you know, we play around. Don't matter how many people it is, we just, you know, go upstairs. And that's what we call the chamber. It was my home.
Right.
We go upstairs on the second floor. It's what I used to call a playroom. My mom used to say it was the den or something like that. I never could get any of that straight. Den, living room, all of it is the same thing for me. But I used to playroom because it was just so big, and we just had all the stuff up there, the video games, just drums, drumsticks. We used to just do whatever. But I would go upstairs, we would close all the doors, and we just play. All let's have our practice pads, and we would all just play. We would challenge each other on different rudiments. Who can play it the fastest? Who can play it the cleanest? And this would go on, Vince, until about 4 in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And, right, everybody go home, and we do it again the next day. Because I remember one time I was like, "Hey, Steve, they going crazy upstairs." And he was just like, you know, that's why I bought this house. And ever since he said, I was like, like she was about to send everybody home because we. Granted, now that I think and now that I'm older, we were going crazy. We had all bass drums, snare drums, tenor drums. Luckily, no cymbals and stuff, you know, crashing. That's way too loud. But we were already just banging on everything. So it was, you know, it possibly was driving her crazy. But at the same time, she knew it was something that I loved to do. Because I did it all day, every day, regardless of if people were there or not. But another thing, we had all those videotapes. Like I have a case full of videotapes of just about every school in Memphis from about 99 to 2007.
Right.
Almost Battle of the Bands, all of it. Then I had a couple of Tennessee State University tapes, just like the percussion practices. And they were like 3 hours long. It wasn't like, hey, we looking at it for 10 minutes.
Right.
We could see them playing all the band songs, and then them marching, and then them boxing up and playing different cadences for about 2 hours. And you're like, man. And I had all this at my utilization.
Right.
Go upstairs and it's like, all right, I'm gonna pop a tape in. We're gonna run through all this stuff. We can run through all the cases together, you know, this, that, and the third. So it was a real fun time. 10th, 11th, 12th grade. That was growing up playing percussion. That was a very fun time for me because that's all I thought about. It was like drums, 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 drums. And truth be told, backing up before this, I was not interested in drums.
Right.
I was not into it because my dad did it, my brother did it, and my cousin did it. So my brother is Steve Potts and my cousin is Jeff Thomas. So they all did it, and I was just like, all right. I want to do something else. I want to be a scientist. I want to just mix. It's so real, not even a joke. It's like, man, I want to mix stuff together and make potions. I just want to do something else. I could not get away from it. For some reason, I couldn't. My middle school teacher put me on trumpet. I was like, cool, I'll play trumpet. That'll be my way to kind of like get away from the drums, catch a little breath. Took the trumpet home. My dad was like,
"What's that for?"
Why he put you on trumpet? And I just kind of played the role. Like, I don't know why Mr. Martin did it, man. He just threw me on there.
Why you always lying?
I end up not really liking it. Right. And once I got to Mitchell, that's when I just kind of like played the bass drum because I was like, I'm gonna see what it's like. See what's going on with it. And right then I was just kind of like, all right. This is actually better than I thought it was gonna be. And then it was just like I'm like, am I trying to trick myself out of not playing drums? Like this is, I'm starting to think, all right, this is stupid. This is kind of, I'm saying this. Let's play the drums. There's nothing wrong with playing the drums. So that's when I took it. Like I said, I started out real terrible because I didn't know what was going on. I just picked up the sticks and everybody was like, oh, brother, and they thought I was gonna take off and I was slow as a snail.
What middle school did you go to?
I went to Lanier.
Okay.
Went to Lanier. Band director was Mr. Martin. Real good guy.
I just don't understand how you ended up at Mitchell. You was right there. You there in the backyard at the Hager. And all you had to do is just drive up a couple more feet, boy.
Funny thing about it was what was it back then? The district, you get the card.
Yeah.
When they tell you what school you're going to. I was assigned to Whitehaven.
Right.
I was assigned. It's just, it wasn't my.
I know. No, it's all good, bro.
It was like, all right, I just ended up going to Mitchell, and I loved it. Let's not get in it. It is. I love high school.
It worked out for the best.
Yeah, it was my parents' choice. It ain't like 2021 where the kids kind of like, all right, I want to go here.
Yeah.
My folks wasn't having it because at once upon a time I was trying to go to Fairleigh because my mom worked at Fairleigh.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, no.
Right. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to drum camp for a while.
I was bro, why you going to Fairleigh? Well, don't go to Fairleigh. Come on, go to Whitehaven.
I did all the stuff, man. I went through the ropes over there, learned all the cadences. And right when school started, my mama said no.
Got him! Got him!
Huh?
Like, you can go do all that?
Yeah, she said, you thought you were early? I said, yeah, I've been going to the camp. She said, no.
You're going to learn today.
I told you weren't going to Fairleigh. She was like, I'm not having no conversation with you about that. No. So yeah, it was like it was the parents' choice. You know what I'm saying? You can't just pick and choose. It was for the best. It was for the best. And I loved the school.
Yeah. So man, you was talking about, 10th grade, when you kind of, and it was funny. So let's start the beginning for me. How I met you was actually through Corey. Shout out to my boy Corey Carpenter. That's how I met you. I was we was at Fairleigh, just happened to be at Fairleigh.
Haven forever. It's in my veins. You know it's Haven forever. Yeah, it ain't gonna change.
This is VRoc
Chops. Summer school. I was in summer school for not doing what I was supposed to do. Corey was in summer school because he was just smart. He wanted to take some extra classes. So me and a couple of my other partners from Whitehaven, it's all bad. We were in summer school, just taking a class, and Corey was there too, but he had his sticks with him. And so he was just over there minding his business, knowing Corey. He was just smiling. We were talking like, man, why this man got sticks? He sucked. Corey just over there smiling. He hear us talking, smiling, shopping. And man, something happened. They end up, I think they played a little bit at each other. And then we all, of course, you're gonna get tight. So we got cool. So man, I went up, start, just talking, chit-chatting with Corey. And he was like, yeah, man, so. I was driving at the time. I started driving early. He was like, man, after school, you mind taking me over Potts' house? I'm like, yeah, I had just, and so that takes me to the moment. I was at Melrose. This particular, you was at Melrose.
Yeah.
In the auditorium. And I saw the evolution of Potts in front of my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? That was my first time at All-Star. I think you, like you said, you had already did it. And so we went in the auditorium. All the heavy hitters from around the school that had already been doing, Justin, Matisse, a couple of Lil Joe, so they already been playing. They went in there, they went on and got on their ends. This why I'm standing. I'm sexually this year. I think you stood like towards the middle. You know what I'm saying? He just playing. Man, Mr. Davis, Contrell Davis came in and he was like, who the sex leader? They were like, hell, how he be the sex leader? I said, no, we're gonna do something different. that might make y'all start challenging all the snares. So Justin started on here, and then it went on down. My teeth on the other end. So every time they play something, you couldn't do it, he switched. So Potts, you start. I said you started the 7th spot. You went from spot 7 to spot. You went up to spot 3. Then somebody played something. You went down to like 5, and then from there 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He sexually. My teeth second.
Moving, man. Yeah, I do remember that though. That was fun time.
That's when Potts the legend.
And hey, what's going on here? It was they had already picked, and I was cool with it. I was like, all right, whatever. And he's like, nah, run the rudiments. And in my head, I said, oh, I've been practicing these 40. I've been going hard too. Now, I had been going hard, and mainly because something Jeff Thomas told me, because he was one of my early teachers. I took my drum down to his house, and we used to play outside. He said, Kyron, learn the 40. Like, go hard on the 40. Like, all of them, though. Not 2 of them, not like 15, all of them. And I was like, oh, okay. And he showed me 2 solos that had all of the rhythms. Well, it was all of the flams and all of the drags. So it was kind of easy, doing the paradiddles because it was like 4 of them and the rolls. But with the drag and the flam solo, I just kept playing it daily, every day. Then I break it down and just play each individual rudiment day by day. I would put a pillow on the pad, play it. We went through a lot of stuff. Tape the stick and put tape go up, down the sticks, almost like bass mallets in my hand. And play the rudiment and just try to speed off, play for the whole day though. It was like you had to train yourself for the actual whole day. Don't just do it for 10 minutes. It's like I would make the sticks heavy and put the pillow on the pad like that for an entire day. Then take it off the next day, use a softer pad and those Dennis DeLucia sticks we used to they were real heavy. Play with them, take them off, use the regular sticks, see if I can, kind of improved on the speed, along with staying clean at the same time. If I didn't, reverse it. And I would just try different techniques to see if it helped with my speed and my being clean. So from there, like I was saying once, he said, oh, we're finna run these rudiments.
All right.
I'm like, oh, I've been doing a lot on these. It's okay. That's what's up. So we just all started playing, and I didn't notice that I was moving down like that. It was the point that I did notice was when he said, hey, you the section leader.
Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
And I kind of looked and was like, oh.
Right.
I went down the line. It was kind of like, and then at the same time, it was a shocker because I'm like, oh, I ain't never been section leader before.
Right.
This is the all-star drum line. It's not just like it's everybody from the city.
Right.
So I went home that day and was like, oh man, I got to get my stuff together because they didn't put me over the all-star drum line. It was just like a total eye-opener for me. But from then on, I knew on top of my stuff because it was. At that time, we were all challenging each other. It wasn't this, it was this passive behavior. We were all like, if your spot could be up for grabs at any moment.
Right.
Like, hey, what's up, man? We want to challenge. Let's challenge. What's up? You couldn't really decline a challenge.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I need to stay on top of my game. Going forward. So that was that 10th grade All-Star, and from then on, I just kept section leader position with All-Star. But I went back to Mitchell also, and that's when I started implementing the different stuff that I learned from All-Star, and I was just giving it to Boogie and Core. I was just like, look, man, they showed me this and showed me that. I took it and brought it right back to Mitchell, and I was like, hey, I want us to be just as good as the All-Star drum line. I don't care if it's the entire city put together. Look, we're gonna be just as good because I'm the section leader of All-Star. So if I'm, like putting these different, putting this talent together for the city, I should be able to do it for Mitchell. It's possible. But at that point I knew, I was like, all right, I want to practice with everybody and get their skill level up. But it was things that they had that I didn't have. Like Boogie could read. Boogie was amazing at reading. Corey was amazing at reading. Like Corey could play timpanis and he was cold.
Yeah.
Underband, because you remember we had first, second, and third chair with underband. It was all because of Boogie and Corey. Like they helped me be able to read. Because I was like, man, I'm real good. I got the skill. I cannot read like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Boogie, you know, them two, by them, they my brothers. They're like, man, whatever. This what's up.
Help me. Help me.
I'm like, hey, this the exchange. I'll show y'all different rudiments if y'all show me how to read.
Right.
And from then on, man, we did that daily. And it was fun time. Like I said, high school was a very fun time for me.
Yeah, man. It was dope, man. Like you say, probably from, like you say, 10th grade till we left that joint. I spent 90% of my time at your house, man. Every day.
We used to, and what's so crazy is like one of those cases that you put out, I could have sworn you used to play it back then.
Okay, let's take it back. You remember you said the choo-choos, right? When you went to alumni band. Let's fast forward. You taught me choo-choos and potatoes.
Yeah, I do remember that.
KV came from what you taught me. That the intro, if y'all want to know what KV, that's the intro song. The cadence has actually been played. I learned the parts I learned from being at Kyron House, and it took me about 2 months to learn the choo-choo.
It did. It was so crazy. But you had a cadence. You used to always be like, hey, I want you to hear this. And I remember when I heard Whitehaven play a cadence, and like Whitehaven got some amazing cadences. Couldn't even get it out how amazing they are. They have some amazing cadences, but I knew this particular one. I was like, I think Vince had his hand in this one. Yeah. You know, have your hands in all of them. Yeah. But I feel like he used to play this one upstairs. On that, because you remember I had the mirror and the two chairs to sit there and we play in front of the mirror. That was another thing. It was like different tips I got from Courtney Starks, Jeff Thomas, Paul Benson. You know, he was stylish. Yeah. He was out of the frame stylish, but they all said practice in front of a mirror. Anything you practice in front of the mirror. Make sure you can see yourself in some shape, form, and fashion. And try to be comfortable. Like sometimes people practice and they'll put it on a table that's this high and be trying to, you know, it's just not comfortable. But I took that and ran with it. But back to you. Yeah, you've been around during every one of my years except 9th grade, just about to say.
Right.
It was just the beginning, and I'm glad you wasn't around because I was terrible, Vince. I'm like, I wish I could erase that. I got a video.
You got to take.
I may see you. I marched in. It was out of drummers.
Out of drummers,
Stay on the right foot, and
dude, I remember. We watched the tape.
Like what? I'm like, man, but you know, everybody, you got to start from somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
Just like right after I ran into you, man, and we've been tight. We still tight as people can see since the 10th grade, man. And like I stated, you came over, you used to practice with us. And what was crazy, you played the bass drum, but you used to always play snare stuff with us. Right. Like, I play the snare, I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna chop with y'all. And that's why we used to teach you, like, hey, I mean, because at some point you're gonna want to learn another instrument, and that gave me the insight. At some point, I want to start learning other instruments too. So it was like, all right, you didn't even know this. It's like, I'm taking stuff from you while you playing bass drum, or you at my house saying, hey, the snake's supposed to be like this. You know, your arm might supposed to be in. I'm absorbing this. So when I'm back and I'm saying, hey, the bass drum's supposed to do the question mark or do the snake. You know, we learned all this before we went to college.
Before we went to school.
We had so many tools, so many tapes that we knew all this, and people would come up to different schools and teach, and it was like I didn't know. I only knew the snare stuff. So like, it's a lot of things people didn't know was like I took stuff from them, even while they were talking or while they were showing stuff. I'm looking and I'm absorbing it at the same time. It's just like you were an important part in my life growing up, just by being around. You weren't a bad character, because as everybody can see, my folks loved you. It was just like it was you, Boogie, Corey. Y'all consistently came around, and we all would practice, man. And we all joke around and stuff, but we all we'd get back to practicing and just I don't know. We became real tight like that. It was how tight we got just from playing the drums.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the start. We played drums, and it brought us all together in one place.
Mm-hmm. And bro, like I say, I think it was our senior year. I told the story about Boogie. I told you before. I told Boogie, when I first saw him when he first came to play tenor for All Star. We was at American Way, and he was standing over with that drum, not saying a word, didn't say nothing. Then he was just looking straight. Me, being as stereotypical that I am, you know what I'm saying? I profiled that man. I said he looked like he's still. And so we, the practice went through. The day went on. We got ready to leave. And you told this before I met Boogie. You told Boogie, I'm like, yeah, just come to the house. I'm like, Potts, you want that man? It's like, yeah, that's my guy. I'm like, I don't trust him. I was thinking about it, like, he's still, man. When Boogie came to the house, had my hands in my pocket. Look, I was just quiet, didn't say nothing. Then he come in the house telling a crazy story. I was like, hey man, this dude ain't right. And so time progressed. And like my Boogie, man, he been one of the most solid dudes. I'm borrowing stuff from him. Hey, bro, let me borrow So man, yeah, bro, we grew up together, man, for real. And not even being at the same school. And so that's
Right.
the power of drums in that community program. This All Star. That was good time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had good intentions. Nobody just up there talking. We didn't talk. We talked noise.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about each other. You know what I'm saying? That was,
like you said, everybody had good intentions. That's what you have to go back on, because even then, a lot of practices wasn't private as they are now. So we went to All Star, and like I was at Mitchell, but I would come up to Whitehaven practice. We went to All Star. We left All Star because we got out of practice a little earlier than alumni. We go up, they drums would be in what was that little area Fairly? It's like that little grass.
the plaza thing.
Yeah, right between the cafeteria and they would all
the pit or something like that. I don't know.
But they let us all come in there, and we, no matter, even if we wasn't really like talking junk, we wasn't like, oh, y'all some, all that. But we could semi-talk mess. We could, like, all right, you sorry.
Right.
And all right, while they playing, they're like, okay, when we get done, you better still be here.
Right.
Type behavior. But that helped me grow. It and it made sure I wasn't timid.
Right.
I was not timid, because you just wouldn't survive. Playing drums, being very timid, especially in our snare drum, because we were so competitive. Like I said, like back then, we could like just go to different things, and we had different avenues. We didn't have YouTube like today, and this is why y'all make sure y'all use YouTube. Don't listen to, oh, y'all got it. Y'all do. But even when I was growing up, I had different things that the people before me didn't have. So things are gonna evolve, but I had all those tapes.
You were YouTube at one point.
Yeah. And I just had all those tapes at my disposal to just go by. We had YouTube, but everything just wasn't on YouTube. We kind of, I think Showtime Mag was out back then.
March
like
something like that.
Another website, but they had to kind of catch it. Versus everything's on YouTube. And you want to find it's on there. So like I said, we had some real good times growing up, Vince. We did a lot of practicing, and that's what I tell the kids now, is that the reason why my skill level is still kind of still at that level is because I practiced so hard growing up, bro. All night long. Even when you all wasn't at the house, practicing. I sit in the room, I cut on a tape, and play through the whole tape until the tape in. And if I had some more energy, pop another tape in.
Right.
But it was because I used to practice so hard, and I know how to practice from trying different things. So that was one of the things I took to Tennessee State when I went back, because I actually left school back in 2009. They extended me a scholarship, and I went back. And one of the things that I wanted to show everybody is how to practice. It's like that's actually a very important part, because if you're not practicing right, then none of this is going to come out. Just doing it however you want to do it. But I just went in and I started showing each person how to practice and that they should practice, because sometimes people think that, oh, I don't have to practice, I can just come to band practice and go home and go back and do it the next day. I'm like, no, this is my thing. If I had to practice, you need to practice. Because then I was at a very high level when I got to Tennessee State, mainly because, like I keep saying, I had those tapes. I knew like all the songs, all the cadences, but I wasn't on them 100%. Let me make sure I say that. Even though I learned all of that stuff, once I got to Tennessee State, there were still some things they needed to put in me. Like I thought I had the style, have it at 100%. It was more like I was there at 65. I'm like, I could have sworn I had it. Different parts in the cadences that I didn't know about. It was just like I'm missing certain beats and stuff like that. So I was missing those points. They made sure, hey, I was humble about it too. I don't want anybody to think, hey, I just went in and was like, all right, I'm Tennessee State. No, it didn't even work like that, especially with my 6 leaders at the time. They were so amazing that I didn't even say nothing to them. And my first day, they I don't know, I think they kind of like, they baited me into it. That was the thing. They baited me into a chop session. And I'm like, all right.
You're going to learn today.
I think I'm pretty good. I was like, oh my God, I just stopped. I'm like, they were so fast, and the power that they was putting into their play, I just sound like a baby next to them. Like, no, all right. I'm humble at this point. Like, I'm humbled out of, honestly, I hadn't said anything, but they made sure I was humble before my mouth even opened.
You're going to learn today.
But playing with them, it leveled me up. I can say that.
Yeah.
Leveled me up.
To T Brooks.
Yeah.
T and Brooks, that's Terrence and Pat.
Yeah. Terrence Jordan and Patrick Brooks.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Some bad boys. Cool, man.
This is VRoc Chops.
So let's go ahead. Let's start at the beginning of freshman year. Like I see, you kind of tapped into it with talking about being humbled and coming into what was that moment for you? Like, why did you ever have that moment, or why did I keep going? Well, I should just just stopped. It's just too much. I don't feel like doing it. Did you ever have that moment? I don't think you did, but did you?
Not, I didn't have that moment, but I did have a moment of I didn't know what was going on. Freshman year, we used to do pass offs. That was a thing back then, where Eddie Hall, he would assign different cadences for us to play, and it was like the sequence, and it was maybe like 3 cadences, but we would all be in that concrete room upstairs, and he'd have us, all boxed up. He said, all right, you all play. But he would sit there and watch to see who would make the line. It was him, Terrence, and Pat. They just view everybody, the whole line, upperclassmen and all. It wasn't, nobody was excluded. So we would sit there and play. I knew that I didn't mess up. I was 100% perfect. Because we should pass offs. I had told Princeton Sydney, I said, hey, I'm about to go off. I'm a freshman and I'm trying to make the line. And this was that point where I'm like, I got to go off. This is how I make the line. I said, Princeton, about to go off. I played flawless. And so they get to the list. They got the list and they calling people names. We all sitting there upstairs in the little concrete room, and he got to the end of the list. He didn't say my name. This was our drum instructor. And I'm like, he was like, yeah, so if your name wasn't called on the list, you may not be able to play. And I think it was like after the Sudden Heritage Classic. My heart just went to my feet. I was like, oh. And I remember looking down the line at Princeton because I was like, I can't believe this. And he looked back at me and he said, oh man, I think something up. I said, I don't know what I do. I just couldn't understand what I had done. I was, oh man, they said, yeah, I can't even play the first game. And I'm thinking, my folks gonna come up, now I gotta call them like, all right, I can't play the first game. I don't even know why. But I didn't want them to come to a game. I'm not playing it. I'm just thinking to myself, I didn't understand. I was just in so much disbelief. But I didn't quit. Quitting never crossed my head. I just was like, how am I going to, I need to find a way to make this drum line. Even if I got to challenge everybody out here, I got to figure this out. I don't know what's really going on.
Right.
But I just got quiet. Pretty much just went on about the day. And I remember Prof Lane, Johnny Lane, he came to me. He said, hey, Kyron. I said, hey, Prof. And I think it was on the side of the field. He said, I think they're trying to humble you. I said, I ain't did nothing. He said, I don't think you did nothing either. I think it's because your brother. Because I remember calling Steve like, man,
Help me! Help me!
Man, I am getting in so much trouble because of y'all. I don't even do anything, and it just be like, you in trouble because of your brother. I was like, what? And so when Prop Lane told me that, it kind of brought a light back because I'm like, that may be true. I was just like completely forgot about, Steve had been there and stuff like that. So he was like, yeah, I think it's because of your brother. You know what? It may be. But it didn't take too long after that. I ended up playing the first game. I had to do another pass off. And it was crazy because I ended up taking an upperclassman spot on the field. It was like that pass off. I was like, all right, I'm finna go off again. And I'm playing songs, cadences, and the sequence. This is finna be played flawless. I did so good, I ended up getting a spot on the field. But at the of an upperclassman, my head kind of got a little big.
Oh! Oh, beautiful!
But at the same time, with Terrence and Pat, it's not gonna stay big. I'm gonna tell you that. As soon as I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on the field. As soon as I got on the field, they were like, yeah, you on the field. I'm like, oh.
You're gonna learn today.
Right. You with us.
Right on the sideline. That's exactly what I should have did. But it was like March. The field was different. Like, cause we were in high school doing different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell, we were included in the field show, but not like the Tennessee State field show where we moving around and having to march 90s and been in practice all day and stuff. And it was just, oh my God, this is crazy. I really should have stayed on the sideline. So like I said, my head didn't stay big that long. It was like a 5-minute thing.
Right.
I got out there, it was just like pop. They popped that and had to go with the flow.
Right.
But yeah.
So, from 2006, 2009 was your first stint with the section. And when you came in, the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? That's what we came. That's what you came in on the mountaintop of destroying all things drummers. One note drum section in Tennessee State.
Yeah.
At time. It's just to be honest. No, I don't care who you think you are. You were not seeing them. But 2009 down till you came back in 12,
13.
13. So that's what about 4 years of, it kind of, we descended quickly. What was your focus and your mindset? Of course, you kind of spoke on it, but what was your, I mean, me and you spoke on it. You like, man, Vince, I said, could we talk about, like, bro, do it? You know what I'm saying? I said, do it, man. Go and get it back right. So,
Yeah.
we playing 5 strokes. We gonna have the cleanest 5 strokes on
Yeah.
earth. So I know that much. But what was your overall scheme and vision for, reinventing, bringing Tennessee back to glory and to where you guys are now?
Yeah. Well, I see what you're saying. When I came back, the main thing that I saw was people were cheating the system, per se. And that's what I was trying to tell the leaders that were in place at that time. It was like, hey, tell people they're not playing it right. Like, don't just like let them not play it right for the sake of. They used to think that, oh, if I do that, then that person may get mad at me, and then it's like emotions get tied into it. And like I said, I'm just like, listen, you're a leader at this point. You shouldn't really care about any of that because if they're your friend, this is something I've always told myself. If they're your friend, they can be a friend regardless of any of this. So you should be a better friend by not letting them cheat. And what I mean by cheat is it would be a lot of different like inner beats missing and flams missing. It just people were playing. They say if it was 8 snares, there were 8 different parts being played for one cadence. And I'm just like, wait, we have to stop. We gotta stop and back all the way back. Because y'all too far ahead and don't really know what y'all playing is what I was trying to let them know. So like I was telling you, if we gotta play 5 strokes, they're gonna be the loudest and cleanest 5 strokes people are ever gonna hear. But I thought to myself, all right, I need to back them up and we need to start from the basics. But I had some good players at the time. There was actually some gems that were on the snare line that I don't think they really knew. Like Miami, Aaron Lockhart, amazing snare drummer. Dustin Hines, I thought Dustin was very amazing, especially like his style. If someone was to tell me, hey, I need a video of a snare drummer from Tennessee State, I would send him straight off because he's like flawless in it. But as far as playing, I just wanted them to know that, all right, I'm finna teach like some basic cadences. And while I'm teaching this, I want us to focus on the style. I want us to focus on playing together. I want us to focus on looking alike. I want us to focus on head movements. If it's going to be the same, well, not if it's going to be the same, but we need to make sure, is this a head movement we want to do? If we don't want to do it, let's knock it out. But it needs to be clear because it was just chaos everywhere. Certain people shaking their heads, certain people not shaking their heads. It's like, is this in it or is it not in it? Be clear about it. That's not it. There's some people going, well, he said it was in it. He said, that's not what we're saying. That's because that's turning into an argument. What are we going to do? Do we want it in as a section or do we not want it? Not want it. Cool, kid. Let's move on. But let's not dwell on, oh, well, he said, let's do it last week. And somebody else said, let's do it 2 weeks ago. That's beside the point. Do we want to do it today? So it was like a lot of different points that I was trying to get at the time, and it was practice time. So it was something that I used to sit down with Primac and talk to him about. Because I used to get texts even when I came back. It was like, all right, Potts, let him go. But my main thing with that was I was trying to keep them from practice to make sure that they were practicing because I just wasn't sure after I let them go. With this being my second time around, I was, a little older in age. So I just wasn't popping up into the dormitories and stuff like I could, back in the time. So I was just like trying to make sure at that time that they were practicing and stuff, even if it was kind of long practices at school. And in our era, we grew up with long practices. We was practice till 3, 4 in the morning. And so once I got to the band and they were getting out of practice about 8 p.m., 9. I'm like, well, we got a lot more time left. I'm not trying to keep you to 2, but at least give me like 2 hours, just straight drum work. We're just gonna do straight drums. But yeah, it was just the different playing styles. I had to get a lot of that out of their head. Some of them still had the core style because we get a lot of core drummers, so that they still were in that style of playing. The form wasn't tight. So I had to back up with them and be like, hey, we basically everybody, we need to start from the basics. Like
Right.
we need to just start over. They're like, oh, Pops, we want you to teach us killer and TCT. I'm like, oh, I got you. I promise. But listen, we're gonna start with like Latin funk, cocaine. But at the same time, I know Latin funk is just chat, boom, 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 ta, 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 ta. But at the same time, that flam, that very first flam, you see people going to that L, and that's a little Tennessee State thing. But it's like the stab of that L. They're gonna while they playing this cadence that they possibly haven't been shown before too. So it's a new cadence. It's not as technical as the newer cadences, but it still focuses on style. Cocaine got all the sticking in it, the sticks come up. It was just, I was trying to teach very simple cadences that still style in them so that I can say, hey, you're messing up the L. We need to work on it. We need to pull this. We need to pull that. And then once they started getting better at that and noticing, hey, he's serious. We need to tighten up these basic cadences before he started moving on to killer. It was like, we want to learn killer, CCT, the BYS. We want to learn the train. I was like, we definitely not learn the train until we get like this other stuff. Because I felt like if we couldn't play like basic beats, like how in the world we're gonna go into dancing around and playing at the same time? It's like one step at a time. And I felt like before I was there, they were just throwing that out, just it wasn't really no foundation on. So I started from there. I just did I made up like a simple cadence, just something, because they was like, oh, we need a new cadence. I'm like, all right, cool. I make one up. It's gonna be very simple. It's a little trendy, a little bit real short, get to the point. And then at that time with games and the way the coaches and stuff work, we get scripts and stuff. So it's not like when we were playing in the stands and stuff, old cadences. Nah, you don't. They radio up and say, hey, Kyron, you got 20 seconds. I'm like, go, 20 seconds, hurry up. We got 18 left. It's like those type of situations. And like when we go over at least like 5-10 seconds, that's when, Dr. McDonough, he looking back at me. I'm like, oh, Brandon, so that's when, I implemented like the shorter cadences and stuff. But back up to like how I helped build them up. It was just, I kept building a foundation. Each year I got better drummers. Like Sam, he would come in. Once I got Sam and he left his like freshman years, became a sophomore. Sam was a real good point for the drum line because he had a love for drums and all drums, like snare, tenor drum, bass drum, cymbal, quints. He didn't care what it was. He had a love for it. So he would actually come in, and he was that extra drive for me. Because sometimes I get tired too.
Right.
But he would push forward right when I get tired. It's like, all right, I got you, Potts. Hey, yeah, we need to do X, Y, and Z. If somebody was short, like on the quints, he'd pull them like, hey, I'll show you this. If they sexually, it was kind of like already tied up with another quint drummer. He's like, hey, I got the other guy. I'll pull him, pull a bass drum. We would just like pull individuals and try to pull them up. Because like I said, we would get star players here and there, but then it was those individuals that didn't know anything, like anything snare wise. A lot of times I would get guitar players, and that I would have to teach them on on the drum line. So we just had to, like I said, build them up. And then once I saw that we got to this point where, and it was like, I think it was Sam year. Sam Drama actually came to it. And Drama was excellent at teaching and helping me push my vision on the drum line. But I think it was like Sam's year. He had like a couple of snare drummers came with him, and they all had like this love for the drum line. And at that point, I was like, all right, this is it. This is the foundation for Tennessee State. I just started teaching them everything. And they were absorbing it so quick. So I remember one year I gave them they went on some short break and I just taught 8 cadences before they left. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to have all 8 before y'all came back. But you remember when we were in the band, they were throwing stuff at us like that. It was just especially 06, they just threw a whole book of stuff at us, but that's because they felt like we could handle it.
Right.
And all right, I feel like this group, they actually did. And then Sam, he started coming up with a lot of different new cadences. And that's when I was like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and jump over to that new world. Because 10 new cadences, but we wasn't producing the newer cadences as quick. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I just wanted to kind of have a conversation with the alumni base because they don't absorb new cadences as well. But I just wanted to let them know that, hey, the core foundation of Tennessee State is never going to go away. Right. Never going to go anywhere. But it's 2021. I'm talking right now. It's 2021. They have to evolve. We at some point we have to evolve. We can't just have stay in one zone, and that's been my mentality since forever. It's just I'm real tired. I'm really connected with the old alumni, very connected. But I always evolve with the times. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. So at that point, I was just trying to express that side to the alumni. It's nothing wrong with them evolving. There's nothing wrong with them playing newer cadences. We still got you. We're still gonna play concrete for homecoming. We're not gonna go, oh, we're gonna play concrete remix for homecoming. It's like, no. We still make sure that the alumni are happy. But when we go to the Southern Heritage Classic, I don't think about the alumni at that point.
No concrete that day.
Yeah, it's about the future. And that's another thing I used to push on the percussion section, YouTube, Southern Heritage Classic. It's just our biggest performances or anything that's on the video, we need to make sure it's flawless because that's what's going to pull students to want to come to Tennessee State. That Southern Heritage Classic, that's what's going to make people want to come to Tennessee State. It's you need to make sure we go into this setting and I'm just pull it down. We bump. Mm-hmm. We just need to hear and we bump and really put it all on the table. Let's not go in and be timid and stuff like that because you got to think about the future. And that was some people say, well, it's just one game. It's just the Southern Heritage Class. I understand, and that's your opinion, and I'm not going to take that away from you. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is a lot of people view the Southern Heritage Classic, the video, or they come to the game in terms of the band and the drum line. Sometimes that's where they make their decision.
All right, that's decision day.
Yeah, that's where they oh, I want to go here or I want to go there, and by you not taking it as serious and you just going to come in and just mess up left and right, it's they see you and go, oh, well, such and such, they be tearing it up. You are affecting the future. Let's not be like that. That's why I just wanted to explain it to you. So you won't think that I'm just being some mean, a-hole, oh, Posse just going, no. I'm really serious that this is for the future. They wanted, oh, I got 1 million videos shot on my phone. They're like, oh, why you don't post all of them? They're not. Because some of them just practice videos with us practicing. So not going to be posting practice videos, people just throwing sticks, flying everywhere. It's just it just makes zero sense. So I just was trying to push different points to the drum line on media, how we do media, are we taking this plan serious? That's something I saw my brother say on one of his interviews. Well, on his interviews, taking it serious. We all took this so serious. It's just at some point, we're gonna joke, have fun, go out, kick it, all that. But man, let's take it serious at this point. Let's erase everything else and take this part serious. If we learn the cadence, cool. And I understand we got little moments where we can, throw a joke out 20 seconds, a section, laugh, but let's not dwell on it. We're sitting there laughing for an hour and practice for 5 minutes, and now we're oh, we all no, let's take it serious. So it was just I had to get that out of a lot of people's minds. It was a lot of the young adults wasn't taking it as serious. And like, oh, well, it's just the John Mayer Classic. Oh, well, it's just the Seven Harris Classic. Well, it's bigger than that. Just like how Dr. McDonald always says, that 10 state on your shirt is bigger than you. So at that point, it's just, we got to push that on them, but you got to explain to them, because sometimes they just don't understand. They don't know. They're young. And when we were young, we didn't understand too much either. So it's just pushing all of that. It was a whole lot I had to do in terms of pushing the drum line up. But I knew that I needed to start from the bottom. I couldn't just come in and say, hey, I'm finna go off. We finna just learn all these complicated cadences, because it had a lot, even 901. They were like, oh, teach 901. I'm like, no.
Right.
I got down. It was just, no. They were like, oh man. I'm like, no way. That cadence took us far too long to learn, and we were like at a high level at that point. And I was just like, no, need to start from the bottom, so that I can make sure all of you all. That was nothing I did. I took what we did in the chamber, like how we used to play music and play stuff. They had a percussion studio then. I think you've been in there. Yeah. We didn't have around. So, but now I got a percussion studio where I can blast music. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I plug my phone up and I play music, and I was just calling out rudiments. And I'm trying to see, it's not a lot. I just call out like a paradiddle one, a flam, a drag, and a couple rolls, just to see how their hands maneuver with the rudiment. And one time everybody's skill level and at how I'm gonna push them up or make them better at what they're doing. So that's what I started with. It was like, I need to see how we all playing. And then it came to the executive decision, the hard part. It's like, now I need to see if you even belong on snare. It's not about me kicking you off the snare, but if I can utilize you on something else at the time, especially if we got too many snares. This is when I came back, we had a lot of drummers a lot of percussion players at that time. It was a lot. So it's like, if I already got 10 snares, 10 solid snare drummers, what I used to say to them is, if you want to pick another instrument, go ahead and pick it. Don't have me do it. Listen, but I will. And my head, I know who it is. So we're going to play this cadence one more time. I'm going to sit here and watch everybody. I'll tell them I'll go off, probably go to the band room or something. I'll come back, go ahead and make that decision on your own. If I come back, decision I made, then I'll make the executive decisions. Kind of be that on that. So it's just like I had to push, because I had like one snare drum I had to put on Quince. Crazy part about it was he was 10 times better on Quince. Couldn't believe it. He was like, oh, I used to play Quince in high school. It's like, huh?
Get the college to try something else. So you better than me in every regard.
But that's exactly what he had said. He was like, I just wanted to try a snare drum. I was like, oh, I understand that. And I'm not saying that you can't play snare drum next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you in the set, you practice with these jokers every day.
Man.
You can always come back, hey, next year and be, because you're here at Tennessee State at this point. You know all of the sauce. That's what I'm going to say. You know all the sauce, and you got the people to teach you the sauce. So you can just go to them throughout the entire semester, work during the summer, and then if you really, you really want to play snare, come back the next semester or fall semester and
try again.
Tell me what you got.
Yeah, that's kind of what's crazy. Like, if my guys watch this from Whitehaven and Oklahoma, and they hear you talk, they're gonna say, "Man, that sounds just like Smith." That's like Vince, because we've been around each other our whole life, and I guess we think on that same level, because everything you're saying is the exact thing I do at my schools. Even Whitehaven, like you said, when we starting off, depending on the group, sometimes I have a high returning rate than I do newcomers. So if I have like that, I'm like, y'all gonna have to catch it. But if I'm starting off, like when we come back off this pandemic, I know it's gonna be another build up moment.
Yep.
I'll build up cadence every time. When I'm starting fresh, even when I start with like working with a middle school, number one, flight. We're gonna play flight. We're gonna play flight a long time. You know what I'm saying? Just cause it's give you everything you need. It has a lot of inner beats. You hear one thing, but you're playing something else.
Yep.
They got space where you can rest. You can work on style. You can work on a lot of stuff playing flight for me. And that's one of my go-to cadence for the high school, not the college.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't we play flight. One of my kids, my kid, he grown now, but one of the guys that played for me, he played line. He was actually a line on bass. This last year, but his name in our group is we need to play flight. That's what because we played that joint so much so long. Like we do everything with flight. I got videos of landing and chop, working on movements, rolls, dance, like we do everything with flight. You know what I'm saying? And that's just for one, it's a confidence builder for me. Like find something simple,
Yeah.
that you can use that everybody can catch on. If you can catch on and play it, you're gonna boost you up and then go. You know what I'm saying? Go and you can ascend from there. And like you were saying, with the music and you playing with the snares, just looking at the hands. My first year working with Kahoma, that's one of the things I did. Not in snare with the music, but we just sat at the table. I threw a metronome on. Let's play. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna just keep going. And that's kind of how, like now, recently up until this past fall, when I actually got no shot at none of my guys. I love every last one of y'all, but guys on that higher echelon of playing, because for one, they played with me for like 4 years, so they already knew how to play. You know what I'm saying? So when they came in, minus one of my guys from Louisiana, but before I had to use what I had and mold those guys, and they actually became really good players. You know what I'm saying? Really good players. Like one kid, he played trombone in high school. I was like, you want to play something? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that luxury of just starting with okay guys at the beginning. And man,
Yeah.
that guy, he turned into a real solid snare drummer. So yeah, man, just so much that we, saying being around each other and the tools that we learned throughout the years, and Tennessee State and other guys, man, you just use what you got and recycle everything.
It's hard to tell. Well, it's actually hard to tell. We came from two different schools,
Right.
Because we were all always around each other.
Right.
I mean, except for during school, because we had to be at our separate schools.
Right.
Because I remember once Boogie got a car. Sorry, Mom. But once Boogie got a car, we were gone. Like I mean, we leave on lunch and we'd be at Wyhaven.
Right.
It used to be so crazy, but like after school, we'd all go home, take about 30 minutes or so. If we ain't got practice, you pull up, Boogie pull up, Corey pull up, Preston pull up, and then whoever Juju.
Juju, yeah.
Yeah, we had him around, man. And Juju was so creative. Like,
Dude, I turned one of his solos to a cadence.
Because we used to wonder, like, how in the world you used to come up with this stuff?
But
Be like, man, it just popped in my head. And we used to be like, Juju wasn't the fastest snare drummer.
Yeah.
But it was like the stuff that he used to put together. None of us was putting that together at the time. He'd come over, he'd be like, hey, I got a new cadence. We're like, oh, let's go, let's rock it.
Yeah, we played them songs upstairs.
Be there to learn the bass part. I play snare. He already know the tenor part. And so we'd all like just come together at that point, man. So yeah, once you was taking over Whitehaven, I knew that they were gonna be a threat. I'm gonna say that. Yeah. I was like, they're gonna be a threat because Vince really loved this. Because I've been around him for just about my whole percussion career. 90% of my percussion career. 10% is gonna be. But I was like, he's gonna be a big threat because he really loves this. It's not a game. It's not a show for him. And I saw how serious you get, like when you're really trying to like get to business. Like you'd be like, hey, be quiet. Like that's when I knew, because I think it was a while ago when she first started doing it. But it was like, with percussion players, we hard-headed, we knuckleheads. Yeah. If you're too timid, you can't teach. And I think they had just started wilding out, man. You was like, be quiet. And they like,
snap two, boy, snap two, don't you?
It was like, I said, oh man, oh yeah. He,
Yeah, man.
he got it. He got it. So yeah, we definitely got the same thing, man. Because we grew up in the
Like,
chamber, bro.
we brothers, man. Like for real, for real. We brother. I remember I remember in high school. Let's go back, man, to high school, and I got in trouble. Got my car taken for like some bad grades or something stupid. I had got my car taken. You had accountability when we was growing up. So you didn't do right, you lose the privilege. So I had to stop driving. But in the midst of that, I still found a way to get to your house, right? So man, like prior to, my mom used to say, "Stop spending so much time at them folks' house. They don't want you over there like that." I said, "Mom, they love me being over there. They always want me to come." I said, "No, you stop doing it." So this particular time, she had to come pick me up from your house. It was kind of early. It was like 6 o'clock or something like that. She came pick me up. She got off. And so your mom came outside. And so that's when they met each other. I want to say it was 11th grade, 10th grade, something like that. And they met each other. And so your mom, she hit her with the oh yeah, we love having them over here. He can come over here anytime, all day. As long as they here, I know they safe. I was like, yes.
That was just to piggyback out that. That was the main thing that, because you remember I said my mom was like, "Oh, they going crazy upstairs." My dad was like, but the main thing that my mom that something that settled her was she knew that I was safe.
Mm-hmm.
That we were safe. She knew I was home, and everybody that I was associated with, she was gonna make sure that y'all were good.
Mm-hmm.
Something to eat, need something to drink. You know what I'm saying? It was there. But the main thing is she knew all of us were safe who went out in the street. We grew up. It's not. I don't think Memphis is just bad as what people say, but at the time we grew up in Memphis, it would have been easy for us to get pulled into the streets.
Yeah, easily, because we were around those people in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
And even back then, what was so crazy? We had street people in the band.
Dude.
And then, that's what used to say. I mean, it was just we used to be like, what? Like we had like some real hood jokes.
For real, dude. I'm like, the band is the mellow. It's the keep you mellow moment, man. And they loved it just as much as we did, even though they were, So yeah, man, music and band, man, is very, very important, man. In everybody, like I feel, you know what I'm saying. If it's something, even if it's sports, and because the AAU circuit and these travel teams, they do real good about keeping the kids, tamed in. But like band, music, man, that kept us, safe. A lot of people have that story. Mr. Christian that I have, he say band saved his life. He's from Chicago, so man, yeah, man. But that was one of the best things about your mama, man. I promise. I never ever. It's two things I never forget about mom. She was genuine, and she made them file lasagnas.
What it is.
And she snuck me a couple of them just when you was at school, so
Tell me, because I would have called you like, what?
I already know.
I just remember we had a lot of times, but yeah, like I said, you were an important person in my life. But let's piggyback. Do you remember that day you taught us about like a digital chip in your leg?
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Hey, man, that's the end of this interview, man. That's it. But I appreciate you coming on, bro.
You see, we go on and on.
Hey, man, we got 2 minute stories, man.
Good,
2 minute stories. Hey, do you remember when we went to the Battle of the Bands? I want to say Kirby, and we was heading home, and you didn't do Raggedy. In my car, we went to Sonic, and we pulled up on the hill, and Sonic, my car cut off. You like, take me home.
I ain't know what. I was like, it cut off. You was like, man, my car cut off.
I said, take me home now. I don't want no food. I just want to go home.
I was spoiled, man. My dad.
Hey, as a bug, man, you didn't eat, bro. You didn't eat. You only ate KFC and Burger King. You was just real right here. Like it's nothing more than this Burger King. And like I eat the fries from McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's. Like, bro, what? Like this? Come on, man.
Yeah, now I don't do that because I'm like, all right, I might need to save some money. You know what I'm saying? I was spoiled, man. My dad was like, "Hey, you want some steak and shake? Steak? Yeah, I want steak and shake. Let's go." You know, we driving way out to South Haven. I
Right.
live home. You know, I stayed. That was when I stayed in Walker home. So, but it was just like I tell people, man, like if your parents spoiled you, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just
Because I was spoiled.
they just love you. That's all.
Hey man, I remember the first time when I came to your house. No, when I came here for the first time and I saw the cases, the damn hard travel cases in the garage. You know, I looked. I'm like, okay. And I came back. Yeah, I looked. The third time, like, bro, you play drums? He's like, no, this is my dad. I said, your dad? He's like, yeah. I was like, my dad. He like, my dad, professional drummer. I said, for real? I was like, what's his name?
And that's one of my. I do have regret. We're gonna put that on tape. My only regret is not playing set. It's not playing. You tried to teach me a million times. Obviously, you know, is that's the thing. I lived in the same house with him.
Right.
But
Boogie tried.
Boogie tried. It was just it continuously still do try. It's just like now I'm like, all right, I may learn now, but that's not the point. The point is I wish I would have learned then.
And what's funny, me and Mimi was talking, my wife, we were talking a couple of days ago. And matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. We were at Steak and Shake. You had just mentioned Steak and Shake. We was at Steak and Shake. And I think she had just watched your brother's video. And so she was like, I said, man, remember me and you, I said, me and Kyron went to a music store in Nashville, and you got on an electric drum set. And man, you was just playing around the electric drum set. I said, dude, if you just put your foot with that, he said, for real? I'm like, bro. He said, I can't. And then when you try to demonstrate your foot and hand with doing the same, I'm like, bro, you just did all this around this doggone kit.
No foot, though. Nothing happened.
You know what? I like, bro, all you need is a foot. Man, Boogie, like, bro, all you need is a foot. You'll be so freaking cold because your placement, your rudiments, how your hands move. Yeah. Like I play set and I can play, but I know rudiments. For some reason, focus wise, I can't play and say, okay, I'm about to do this flam paradiddle around the set. I can do it, but I don't think on that level like how like a Chris Patter think or how your dad think. I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it's weird, man. My mind is set up weird. I can play. I know my rudiments. I can put them together, but I can't create it on the fly like that. You know, it's just I have to practice what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, why are you already playing? Because you're already thinking about what you're playing.
Right.
And you having to think about what you're playing and what's coming up next.
Right. Like man, like creating licks and stuff. You can show me a lick, I'll play it. But me creating it, I can't do it to save my life. Even with the room, like they just put a paradiddle around that. Like,
yeah,
it ain't gonna hit.
All right, 100% correct. It was my foot. I just never did anything because we had to sit at home. It's like, and then
us sit.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a couple of them. I got to sit like I have a sit.
Your dad got so much stuff, man. Shout out to Steve Potts.
What's fun about my dad? He used to challenge me. On the I'd have a snare and he had a set. It was so crazy. Like I'd be downstairs in my living room, and he'll hear me play something on the drum, and next thing I hear, I'm like, just something. Then you hear, I'm like, is it playing? I promise I do remember this one time, man, and we went at it for a while, and I remember him laughing. He came down the steps. He was like, yeah, man. I was just like, and then my mama came and was like, y'all are crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
Pop Pops, man. Pops, Mama Pops, man. Great people, bro. Great people. I love y'all to death.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
We do have like it's a drum family, but we all just kind of grew up, like I said, like my brother said, like under my dad and his brother Alvin and stuff like that. It's a lot of musical talent in the family. And we just kind of backed off of it. And with each generation, it just evolves.
I know lives are coming. He started when he was a little baby, then he stopped.
Yeah.
Lives are coming.
The thing about Elijah is, and this is what's so crazy, is he hasn't stopped, Vince. The last time I had with him, it shocked me. And this is what I tell Riles. he is in love with him. He's like, man, I want to connect with him. I said, I got you. And I shot him a message, said, hey, my nephew loves you, man. Like, I got to bring him up there. And also that's my way. I need to keep him. Like, I got to recharge him. He got to get back in the drum. And if that's how I need to get him back, I'm gonna take his tail to Atlanta.
Yeah.
There with ATL Drum Academy.
Yeah.
And because he watches him on YouTube, and I didn't know until like I went down to Memphis, because I haven't really been to Memphis a lot since the incident or whatever. But the last visit, months ago, I sat down with Elijah and we were just talking, just having different conversations. He was just like, yeah, hey, I be watching James on YouTube.
Mm.
And I was like, really? He said, yeah. And he pulled it up, and he just like, yeah, I just be sitting there watching. I be trying to learn a different stick. And I said, oh, okay. That's because I thought he was just like, I thought he left drums.
I did too. I thought he was just done. After that battle, the last one, I thought he was just done with it.
But kids sometimes maneuver on. They be soccer, football.
Yeah, that's what Pop said. He didn't pick up to middle school. Yep.
They want to try everything, but I think he's coming back to drums.
Mm.
And if I gotta help him, I help him. I take him down there and push him right on through them doors and say, hey, play the drums just to get him back into it. Because that's all. It's just he just wanted something to get him back into it. Because when I was at home a lot, up with him, I was I had my drum on, he had his drum, and we just try different things and stuff like that. And I take him around and take him to different people drum practice and stuff. He was real excited to see that stuff. Okay. But Memphis a lot lately, so that's why
I'm gonna get Elijah to have. I'm calling dibs on that one. So Trayvon, don't even try it. I know you're gonna see it. Don't even try it. I got him. Dibs on Elijah.
Get him, man.
I got him. Don't you worry. He got Christy. I got him.
We're gonna connect you like a little bit after we get done. We're gonna because I want him to do something, man, and I'm gonna talk to him and see if that's something he want to do, even if it's him, coming around and just going.
Like it's open door policy for y'all, man. Whatever y'all want, bro.
I definitely appreciate it, man, because anything to keep him, interested. I'm gonna be his biggest fan, whatever he do. But he want to play the drums, and I'm just waiting on it because it didn't. It's like I said, it took me to the 9th grade before
Jeff does 10th grade, right? He was on trumpet too. I didn't know. I just put those two together. Both of y'all started out on trumpet.
It was like I had no thoughts, and that's something I didn't say. Jeff and my brother, they tried. I remember one day they put some sticks in my hand. Vince, I had them sticks in my hand probably 5 minutes. They were trying to show me a paradiddle, and I was like, "Get a paradiddle." I'm like, what? And they're like, right, left, right. And I'm just like, what? What?
Come on, you got to do it.
That's exactly like, come on. I'm like, man, I'm cool. Down. I think I probably went next door because that was when my cousin Robert stayed next door to my grandma.
I don't have to take this. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gone. Like, not because y'all trying to like force me into drums and drums. I'm like, I'm good.
No wrong calling, man.
Yeah, and that's problematic. He told me that stuck with me ever since he said it. Like, you can't run away from your passion.
Yeah.
You can't. You can try, but you just can't run away from your passion. And he was like, this is something you really love to do. And at first, I was just kind of like, trying to push myself away. He was like, this is something you really love.
Yeah.
That's why I reached out to you, because I know this is something you love to do.
Yeah. Well, man, bro, we can talk all day, man. This video already going to be super long. So we're going to have to cut it short. We got to cut it.
For the interview, I said, me and Vince guy, like, I was in my head, like, I'm going to make sure I summarize a lot of this stuff. Because
we can talk, bro.
My entire life. So what can you talk about? How about that?
Exactly, man. We're gonna do it again, bro. We're gonna chop it up again. We're gonna do some more stuff. in the future. So man, I appreciate you, bro, man. I appreciate you, appreciate the family. There's everything, bro. So man, there'll always be love here for us, bro.
That was
Cool,
good.
man. Well, man, listen, I'm gonna put some of your information up for people that may be interested in auditioning and getting in at Tennessee State. So we're gonna get that up there for them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go from there, man. So until next time, Chop Nation, I appreciate y'all, man. Enjoy this video. But remember, the chops don't stop. Y'all have
Stop.
That's right.
I like that.
This is VRoc Chops.